The autumn air in Washington, D.C. is thick with tension, as if the city itself is holding its breath. Political uncertainty hangs over the Capitol, and every conversation seems to circle back to one question: what will happen next? In just 2 days, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney will step onto the White House lawn to meet President Trump, a summit that could either heal old wounds or shatter the Canada-US alliance for years to come. The world's eyes are fixed on this pivotal moment. The backdrop? A bitter trade war that has left both sides bruised and wary, with trust in short supply. Trump's second-term tariffs have battered Canada's economy, especially the auto sector, pushing unemployment to its highest since the pandemic. Families across Canada are feeling the strain, and businesses are desperate for relief. This meeting comes just before the crucial USMCA review, turning what should be a routine diplomatic check-in into a high-stakes showdown that could redefine the rules of North American trade. Carney, elected on a promise to reset relations and restore prosperity, now faces his ultimate test. Can he secure real relief for Canadian workers and businesses, or will he return home empty-handed? The world is watching to see if Carney, the former central banker known for his calm under pressure, can outmaneuver one of the world's most unpredictable leaders on the global stage. The stakes are enormous. The future of North American trade, millions of jobs, and the spirit of partnership that has defined the continent for decades all hang in the balance. For both leaders, failure isn't an option. The consequences would ripple far beyond their own borders. The next 48 hours will decide the fate of a relationship on the brink, and the world is holding its breath to see what comes next. President Trump has added fuel to the fire with a provocative suggestion: Canada should become the 51st U.S. state. The idea, delivered with Trump's signature bravado, sent shockwaves through both countries, igniting fierce debate on talk shows and social media. It was a headline-grabbing move that instantly polarized public opinion, with some dismissing it as political theater and others wondering if there was a deeper strategy at play. This wasn't a joke. It became a recurring theme, unsettling Canadians and baffling diplomats. The proposal dominated news cycles, leaving many to question whether Trump was serious or simply using the idea as a bargaining chip. Trump framed it as a fix for all trade disputes: no borders, no tariffs, no negotiations. He argued that by erasing the line between the two nations, economic friction would disappear overnight, and both countries could focus on prosperity. Carney, balancing wit and resolve, publicly dismissed the idea, saying, "Some places are never for sale." His response was met with applause at home, but also with curiosity abroad about how Canada would handle the mounting pressure. But Trump persisted, tying the statehood idea to security, offering Canada free access to a proposed North American missile shield, if it joined the U.S. He painted a picture of shared defense and unbreakable alliance, tempting some with the promise of greater safety. This transactional approach put Canadian sovereignty on the table, making the upcoming summit about more than just trade. Suddenly, the stakes were higher, and the world was watching to see if Canada would stand its ground, or be drawn into Trump's orbit. Carney's challenge: secure a better deal while firmly reasserting Canada's independence. He faced the daunting task of defending national interests without escalating tensions or appearing inflexible. The 51st state narrative, bizarre as it is, has raised the stakes and redefined the diplomatic battleground. It's become a symbol of the unpredictable new era in North American politics, where even the unthinkable is suddenly up for discussion. For Carney, it's not just about tariffs. It's about defending Canada's very identity. The question now is whether he can rally the nation and its allies to push back against this unprecedented challenge. The world waits to see how he'll respond, as the next move could reshape the future of US-Canada relations for generations to come. Beneath the bluster and headlines, the US relies on Canada far more than it often admits, and this relationship is woven into the very fabric of both nations' economies. Every single day, an astonishing $2.7 billion in goods and services cross the border, supporting millions of jobs and countless industries on both sides. From auto parts to fresh produce, this constant flow keeps shelves stocked and factories humming. Canada is the #1 export market for 36 US states, tying American prosperity directly to Canadian stability. For many communities, trade with Canada isn't just important, it's essential for survival. Tariffs and trade barriers hurt not just Canadians, but also American workers, governors, and business leaders. Pressure that's building in Washington as local economies feel the strain. Canada is also the largest supplier of steel, aluminum, and 34 critical minerals vital to U.S. industry and defense. These resources are the backbone of everything from cars to fighter jets. The U.S. military and tech sectors depend on secure Canadian resources, ensuring that supply chains remain uninterrupted and innovation can thrive. Energy ties run deep. 60% of U.S. imported crude oil and 85% of electricity imports come from Canada, powering American homes, businesses, and industries every day. These aren't just numbers. They're the backbone of North American security and prosperity, forming a foundation that both countries depend on for growth and stability. Carney's quiet leverage is real. America can't afford to lose its closest partner, especially when so much is at stake for both economies. This deep interdependence is his strongest card at the negotiating table, giving Canada a unique influence in every discussion. The trade war threatens both nations' futures, risking jobs, investments, and the stability that has been built over decades. The summit is about more than tariffs. It's about preserving a vital partnership that underpins the prosperity and security of an entire continent. Facing a hostile White House, Carney launched the Carney Doctrine, diversifying Canada's alliances beyond the U.S. He visited London and Paris first, strengthening ties with Europe and signaling Canada's global reach. Carney also built partnerships with middle powers like Australia, showing Canada isn't isolated. Meanwhile, his team quietly lobbied U.S. governors, senators, and business leaders, arming them with data on how tariffs hurt Americans. The strategy built pressure from within the U.S. while expanding Canada's influence abroad. Carney arrives in Washington not as a supplicant, but as a leader, with options and leverage. The message is clear: Canada won't be bullied, it's ready to lead. October 7th. The Oval Office is tense as Carney and Trump face off. Trump repeats his grievances about trade imbalances and touts his tariffs. Carney listens, then shifts the conversation. He's not here to beg, but to propose something bigger. He pitches a North American Economic and Security Pact, a bold, integrated agreement on trade, critical minerals, energy, and defense. Carney frames it as a chance for Trump to secure a historic legacy, not just a trade win. The idea grabs Trump's attention. He loves big deals and grand gestures. Suddenly, the negotiation isn't about ending a trade war, but building a new continental alliance. Carney's move reframes the stakes and puts Trump on the path to a legacy-defining deal. The table is set for a breakthrough. With Trump intrigued, Carney unveils his masterstroke. He offers massive Canadian investment in North American defense, including the Golden Dome missile shield, and guarantees U.S. access to critical minerals. In return, Carney demands an immediate end to all tariffs imposed since the trade war began. This isn't a plea, it's a strategic offer: security, resources, and partnership in exchange for a reset. Carney flips the script, turning a defensive ask into an assertive deal. Trump faces a clear choice: keep fighting or secure North America's future. The offer is bold, practical, and hard to refuse. For a moment, even Trump is speechless. Carney's proposal lands as Trump faces mounting pressure at home. U.S. businesses and consumers are feeling the pain. Tariffs on Canadian lumber are driving up home prices, sparking backlash from builders and home buyers. The auto industry is in chaos, with supply chains disrupted and costs soaring. Governors from key states are urging the White House to end the trade war, knowing it's hurting their economies. Canadian diplomats have quietly built a coalition of U.S. allies, business leaders, politicians, and industry groups, all pushing for a deal. Carney's offer gives them a positive solution: end the tariffs, secure resources, and strengthen defense. Now, American voices are rallying behind Canada's proposal. Trump is under pressure to deliver a win, not just for himself, but for the country. The stage is set for a dramatic breakthrough. Carney hasn't just negotiated, he's changed the game. The White House must now choose between conflict and cooperation. The world is watching. The result is a shock. Trump agrees in principle to Carney's pact. The joint statement skips talk of tariffs, focusing on a new era of partnership and continental security. tariffs begin to lift, and negotiations for the broader pact commence, a huge win for Canada. The 51st state talk vanishes, replaced by a story of equal partnership. The deal secures U.S. access to resources and defense, while restoring stability for both economies. Trump claims a historic win. Carney proves the power of smart diplomacy. The agreement is a blueprint for how middle powers can thrive, even with giants as neighbors. A new dawn for North America begins, built on vision, leverage, and bold leadership.